Hey everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show to get you styled up with Stitch Fix. Shopping's hard. It's hard. With Stitch Fix, you get a stylist, though, who understands your style, your size, your budget, and they do all the shopping for you.
Wow.
This is excellent. Shopping, I'm telling you, shopping and figure out your style, it's overwhelming. Let somebody help you when it comes to getting dressed. We don't know what we're doing, so we let Stitch Fix help us out. A Stitch Fix stylist there. They know what works on us. We get the prices that make us look really good, and it feels good. You get some confidence boost walking around knowing that you're looking decent here.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we just give the stylist our sizes, style, budget preferences. We order boxes when we want, how we want, no subscription or any of that required. And they send called Just For Me pieces as well. Like, maybe you'd like this, and it's awesome. Outfit recommendations, styling tips. You keep what you love, you send back the rest. It's super easy.
Yep.
You can do it, and we are doing it because it's excellent. Personal styling for everyone. Get started today at stitchfix.com/STM. That's stitchfix.com/STM.
Now back to the show.
Hey everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show and tell you about Noom. Has Noom helped you? I believe it has.
Oh, that's got an app. You can do tracking. It's terrific.
It does. And Noom builds personal plans that can meet individual needs. That's the thing. Takes into account any dietary restrictions, medical issues, other personal needs. That helps build a plan that works for you. And yes, so I know that you've had your own personalized program here that you've been working on. And
it's weight loss This is weight loss results that last. They stick around because you get yourself into a lifestyle change. That's what matters.
That's mainly it. You can't just say, I'm going to cut that out for a month and then go back to it. That's not what it is. So I'm glad it's helping you. That's great. And it really does. I like the psychology and biology-based approach here. Yeah. Noom Weight uses psychology. That's why they say losing weight starts with your brain, but it also takes into account your unique biological factors, Jimmy. All of your multitude flora and fauna that goes on inside of you there.
Sure. Yeah.
Stay focused on what's important to you with Noom's psychology and biology-based approach. Sign up for your trial today at Noom.com, Noom.com here. Based on 3.5-year study of actively engaged Noom users with minimum starting BMI of 25. Individual results may vary. Visit our website for more information.
Welch's knows some things make zero sense, like why the algorithm knows your music tastes better than you do. But zero sugar and full flavor? We made that make sense with new Welch's Zero Sugar. All that passion fruit or tropical punch goodness and none of the sugar. You gotta sip it to get it. New Welch's Zero Sugar. Let's fruit stuff up.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Small Town Murder Express.
Yay!
Yay, indeed, Jimmy.
Choo,
Yay, indeed.
choo. Yeah,
choo. All aboard the Murder Express. Here we go. The murder train is pulling away from the station. Here we go. Yeah. Very quickly before we get started, because we have obviously an insane show today, as normal. Very quickly, shutupandgivememurder.com is where you get anything like tickets and merchandise and all that sort of thing. Live show stuff. Get it all right there. And patreon.com/crime and sports is where you get all of the bonus material. And oh my goodness, are there so many shows? There's like 150 shows in the back catalog on Patreon. Yeah. You're going to get access to everything. $5 or above gets you access to crime and sports bonus material, small town murder bonus material. This week, the 2 episodes you're going to get: the downfall of Bobby Knight, the all-American national champion, everything coach that screwed everything up with his temper. And we'll talk about it. There's some kids with some finger marks around their neck that would like to talk about him.
PTSD.
Speaking of finger marks, for Small Town Murder, we are going to talk about some prison stuff. It is going to be pretty gross. We're going to talk about the very disgusting Rikers Island documentary that we've talked. So many people have asked us to talk about that on a bonus, so we said, let's do it. And some other weird prison stuff that a lot of people have requested this, so we're going to do it. It's going to be pretty gross. Get all of that and more at patreon.com/crime and sports. And of course, you'll get a shout out at the end of the regular show. It comes out on Thursday. So here we go. Let's get into this.
Okay.
Let's clear the lungs.
Yeah.
And shout, shut up.
up and give me murder.
Let's do this, Jimmy. Let's go on a
Here
trip,
we go.
shall we?
Yeah.
Let's head out of here. We are heading up. We're coming from New Jersey last week, and we are going to head to the upper Midwest, you could say here. It's up top here. We're going to go to Minnesota.
Oh.
Let's do it. We haven't been to Minnesota in a while.
Land
here,
of lakes.
That's a lot of lakes. And this place, no exception, Ham Lake, Minnesota.
Ham Lake.
Ham, H-A-M, nothing, not even a double M, like a Ham Lake, Minnesota. You can reach.
So it should have called the Great Salt Lake.
The Ham Lake. No shit. Well, this place is different. You can take a rowboat out there with your son or your daughter out there, and you guys can just reach on in with your bare hand and pull out a ham. It's beautiful. It's a beautiful thing. You know what I mean? Just with your bare hand, Jimmy. You don't even need a pole. It's abundant. Dinner served, pal.
This is the rum ham here.
Yes, this is Rum Ham Lake, Minnesota. It's only a half hour outside Minneapolis, too, but it's like extremely rural. It's almost like there is not a connection to Minneapolis here. This is like where you go on vacation to get away from Minneapolis for the most part. Or
you got a Ham Lake house?
That's the thing. People who live here more now, but as we'll talk about, the population grew very quickly. Earliest settlers here go back to 1855, the first white people that came here, and they named it Glencarry, which is a Scottish name meaning beautiful valley. Uh-huh. And they advertised it all over the United States as a future city. Come here. Oh. We're building this awesome city. This is amazing. Oh, it's wonderful. And then that was kind of, in 1857, a prairie fire destroyed everything. So, when that happens, it really kind of wipes out everybody left.
Fire was a detriment to humanity
it was
for
bad.
Quite some time.
And so, before you could really pump water out to put it out, too. But, I mean, imagine someone had a brochure like a year before, and they're like, I'm saving up and I'm heading here, everybody. And they're showing around the brochure, and they show up to a smoldering heap of nothing, and they're like, well, this isn't what they advertised.
What happened, guys?
Shit, this isn't cool.
Vikings come through here?
So for 10 years or so, nobody was there anymore. It was just a ghost town of smoldering smoke
absolutely packed everything and moved there to find it all black.
They did.
What the fuck?
And I picture them looking at the picture in the brochure, and then above the brochure at just it all burned to the ground, and then back down at the brochure and going, are we in the right place? Did you take what? Let me see that map. Hold on a minute.
What angle did they take this from?
This is crazy.
Looks like shit.
This looks terrible. So then Norwegians came. Or in 1866, a Norwegian man came. He was the one guy.
Not plural.
Not plural. A Norwegian man showed up, and he's like, this looks good. And he just sat there, and they were like, very nice. And then other Scandinavian-type people followed. And then everybody ended up being large, tall, and blonde.
Minnesota. Yeah.
And that's why Minnesota, that's why this area has a lot of those people.
That's why they look the way they do.
This Norwegian man, his dick was sore. Let me tell you something. He had to really lay some seed. This is the original Johnny Appleseed of the area here. He just really spread it all around here.
Johnny Appleseed.
Oh, that's the guy. So early 1900s, potato farming was at its peak here. Just farming some potatoes. Yeah. And then there were sod farms. I guess, is that grass? Are they growing grass?
That's All the golf courses of America were laid with this place.
With ham sod. That's beautiful. Ham sod. It didn't become a town officially till 1974.
Really?
Yeah, officially.
That took a little
incorporated.
Bit.
Yeah.
100 fucking years.
Well, we're going to see how it goes here. A fire could come at any minute, everybody. Let's not get ahead of ourselves. So the motto of this town is convenient country living.
Okay.
Yeah, so I don't believe it for a second. Median income here is high, because if you're going to live in a burb and that's on a lake, it's going to cost you a little bit. There's plenty of flatlands to live in Minnesota where you don't have a lake view. So
anytime water's nearby, it's so expensive.
Median household income here, $90,000 a year, which is well above the $54,000 average. Median home price, $422,700.
Holy fuck!
So it's expensive, kind of a nice suburb on a lake filled with ham. So a lot of people are going to want to be here. Couple reviews real quick.
Salty meat is abundant.
Who's not going to come? Very quickly, we'll do a couple reviews and we'll get to the story here. So here's like a 5-star. Ham Lake is the perfect location for quietness, but also has quick access to nearby areas. Oh. Well, any nearby areas I would hope have quick access.
Yeah.
It shouldn't be a long time to get to nearby, should it? How is it easy to get to farther away areas?
It's a real day trip to get to nearby shit.
It's so weird. It is quiet and not too busy or loud. Well, yeah, you just said it was quiet, so we get it. Here's a 3-star. Ham Lake is odd. Okay, I'll believe that. It's a small.
So are the people, evidently.
What I'm saying, it's a small town, and the businesses we have here are just plain weird. There's a cowboy church. I'm not joking. It's called Cowboy Church because apparently a lot of cowboys live here. Okay, well, I guess so.
Right in the nose, then.
It's on the nose thing. It'd be funny if it wasn't. If it was like the super like gay friendly church in town. They just called it the Cowboy Church. Every once in a while, a guy comes in with a brochure and a big 10-gallon hat, and he's like, am I in the wrong place? And he looks at the brochure, and he looks up, and he looks down, and he looks up. I'm in the wrong place. Shit.
Is this the Cowboy Church? Why are you dressed like a pirate, sir?
You know what? I kind of like Madonna. I'm staying. Fuck it. And he's just dancing. Ham Lake Park is gorgeous, though. Well, that's terrific. Yeah. Here we go. And 1-star. The water is contaminated, has cancerous properties, and all the well water, very racist area.
the
water's racist. The water's racist, apparently, which is, there's a lot of racism, but I didn't know it went that deep. It's
in the water.
That's something else right there. Well, I guess if it's all contaminated with cancerous shit, making everybody racist. I don't know.
These people are crazy, James. What are these?
I don't know what's happening up here. I think I'm believing that something's wrong with the water. Here's 1-star. Yeah. Jimmie, listen to this. Quote, I'm reading it exactly as it's said. Quote, I was promised food, but I got slapped with some ham 20 minutes ago at a gas station. Not funny. What is happening in this town? This place is crazy. This place is fucking crazy.
It's just holy fuck, man.
Now, population.
Deadwood, Minnesota.
It's insane. In 1970, there was like 3,000 people here. So it was a small little kind of lake community. Now there's over 16,000 people here.
Wow.
So it's swelled a lot. And that said, let's definitely talk about this murder. Right away.
If it's anything like the town, it's going to be insane.
That's what I mean. When you start out with all of this, where else do you go? I was promised food. I was promised food and instead was slapped with ham at a gas station for some reason, which I don't know where. That would be weird if you went to like the gas station Taco Bell and they slapped you with ham. That would be very strange and unexpected because they don't even sell ham. So that'd be really weird.
It's a fascinating place. I can't get enough of it.
I know. I wish we had an extended town version on this one. But no, we have to get to the murder. Now, for this murder, the drama takes place in 1978. But let's set it up to build up to the late 70s. All right, let's set the table here and find out some just bonkers shit that's going on with these people. Okay, first of all, Donald Manfred Carlson. We're going to talk about first. Old Donnie Carlson. He's born in 1929.
Yep.
So he's 49 years old in 1978. So we'll talk about how he gets there. He met a young lady as a child. Mind you, very small child, elementary school. He met a young lady named Joan. Okay, and they date as teenagers. Joan, he and Joan, and it's young Minnesota love. Yeah. They're going down. They're watching it's the running of the hams. They watch them when the hams mate. They all run up on the shore and mate, and then go back into the water. It's a thing. It's romantic. You take your girlfriend, you hold her hand. In the 50s,
Minnesota Johnny and June with Donnie and Joan.
That's what it is. It's beautiful. It's young love,
It's beautiful.
John Cougar Mellencamp's taking notes somewhere, watching them, jerking it, whacking it with one hand, writing down lyrics with the other.
Holy gross. Jesus Christ.
That's how he writes lyrics. What do you want from me? That's what I've heard.
Now I'm convinced, and you can't convince me otherwise.
No, he watches teenagers humping cars while he whacks it and writes down wholesome lyrics about, kids dating and getting married and living a good life with little pink houses and white picket fences and, tasty freezes and everything else.
And that's how he got Meg Ryan.
And then he ends up with Meg Ryan because she's into that. She's like, it's wholesome but also kind of filthy. I think that's her whole brand, isn't it?
It is, yeah.
I'm super wholesome, but then, back in the day, she'd be like, but, you get me behind closed doors. I could be gross.
I'll
do
spit
some
all
stuff
over your balls.
I'll do some gross shit. It's all good. So they date as teenagers, these two. Like I said, they're hanging out, but they drift apart or they don't end up making it a permanent relationship. Well, they don't get married, we'll put it that way, which for high school sweethearts in the 50s is kind of like if you were dating one person, that's kind of how you did it. Because in the 50s, people would date different people all the time. Like that was just the way it was, unless you were going steady with somebody. And then it was basically you're going to marry that person, as soon as you graduate. So different, though. So Joan, though, ends up marrying a different boy.
Oh.
She marries a boy named Burke Nelson. Now, Joan's name is Nelson also, by the way. Okay. They're not related at all.
She didn't even have to change her name.
Didn't have to change her last name. Maybe that was the allure of the whole thing is, hey, fuck it. This is super easy and, why not?
Work,
Yeah, not at all. So anyway, she married a guy named Burke Nelson. And I was lucky I had to look a little deeper, but thank fuck they're not related. I was like, please tell me she didn't marry her cousin. I can't deal with another story with somebody's like married to their cousin or something. This is crazy. Yeah. This story this week, I specifically looked for a story that did not take place anywhere near a trailer as well. I was like, I'm overloaded with these trailer parks right now.
We got lake houses this week.
I feel like I'm just, we're overwhelming these poor people in a trailer park. I feel terrible. So we're gonna move along to some people that are having sitting by their lake house on the porch, sipping a cool drink instead of struggling with their poop bucket on the front porch of their trailer.
When your house has axles, it's gonna be issues. There's gonna be some things happening.
There can't be stability. The house isn't even attached to the ground. How can it be stable? Yeah, that's what I mean. How can it be stable? You could roll away at any moment.
Yeah,
this isn't good. So anyway, 1953 is when Joan and Burke were married, and then in 1954, old Donnie Carlson here, he marries another woman as well.
Okay.
So I guess that was that, right? I mean, young love, and you grow out of it, and you marry different people, and
you grow apart. You become someone else. You move on.
That's maybe you run into them in 20 years and you laugh about it. What could have been? Isn't that funny? Yeah, that's funny.
Maybe we'll both be divorced by then, and we have a fucking great weekend somewhere.
I'm so happy with my husband, with old Burke here. We have such a wonderful life, beautiful children. I just, but it's great to see you. It's been wonderful, Donnie. Excellent. Okay, we'll get together. No, we'll get the whole families together. It'll be wonderful. Absolutely. And you never talk to that person again. That's how it works. Instead, what ends up happening is both of those people get married. Don Carlson, he gets married to another woman, and they even have 2 daughters as well. Okay. So they have kids and everything. While this is all going on, Joan and Donald are still fucking the entire time.
What?
Yeah. Instead of just marrying each other, they both married other people and continued to fuck. What is
that?
Is the most nonsensical thing I've ever heard in the history of relationships.
I don't understand.
You go out, break up, meet other people, marry them, and still fuck. Like what? Why didn't you just get married to begin with? What are we talking about?
Which one has the hang up about the other person?
They both do.
Yeah.
That's they both do. Because this goes on for years, Jimmy. This isn't just in the beginning of the thing. By 1960, it's still going on.
Wow.
She's been married for 7 years.
She just can't take how much he leaves the toilet seat up?
I don't know what the magic of Don Carlson is, but he must have his dick must be like a snake to a snake charmer. She must be able to just blow on a flute and it'll make her, it'll make her explode because this is crazy I don't know what her deal is.
This before.
And especially back then, this was, Jesus Christ, this would have been scandal if, if they got caught. Holy shit, Jesus Christ, small town.
But worse over, this is like what your parents want you to do is find somebody that you're passionate with forever. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
you adore them. They clearly give a fuck, but not enough.
That's the only thing I can think is like maybe they were convinced that other people were better for them. You know, like this guy's a better provider. You should really marry him, or his name's Nelson, not for nothing. Or with him, who knows? You never know what influences come. Who the hell knows? Especially back then, I think it was pretty easy to influence. Kids in their early 20s to marry people. People seem to just get married on a whim back then and stay together for 60 years.
Who knows? Maybe the sex is just so good, and they're just
maybe.
like,
it has to be.
Yeah, it's
because that's what they
great
have.
Sex, and the rest of it is awful.
It has to be the sex because they keep the sex up. As a matter of fact, by 1960, now mind you, Joan is still married to Burke, and he's still married to his wife. Joan gets pregnant finally. Problem is, it is Donald's.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, it's Donald's kid.
Donnie.
They don't know. He doesn't know that, of course. The Burke Nelson has no clue of this. He said, "Wow, after 6 years of trying, finally we're having a baby."
Yeah.
Doesn't realize that it wasn't exactly his. So she has a son, Joan does, named Blake. I guess they do. Donald and Joan together have a son named Blake. They just raise Blake, Joan, and Burke like nothing happened.
No.
Absolutely, like nothing fucking happened. Like it's like what's his name? The reporter that's supposedly Woody Allen's kid, like that.
Yeah.
Frank,
Ronan?
Frank,
Ronan
yeah.
Farrow.
Frank Sinatra's kid, obviously.
He
delivers all his reports in a croon, and says, "I did it my way, sweetheart." All right, then. Like gives you lights up a cigarette.
Yeah, it has
lights a non-filter cigarette.
Entirely opposite face of Woody Allen.
Everything, yeah. It's not. I think that's what's going on here. How you doing, sweetheart? And he's like, "Wow, this is strange. This is fascinating." I mean, good God. So this is crazy. So the son, Blake B. Nelson, here, I think it's Blake Burke Nelson. So finally, 1972, Joan gets a divorce from Burke.
Okay.
Blake's 12, for Christ's sake. I mean, this has gone on way too far. And
20 years?
For 20 years. By now, also, Donald's been divorced from his wife for some time now, of course. Yeah. So it's at this point that Joan decides to move in. Her and Blake move in with Donald.
Okay.
And they're going to be a family. So they get married. This is your new dad. No, seriously, for real. It's actually, I know people say that, and they're just, no, he's actually, we can take a blood test. Like, he's seriously your dad. What?
So it'll be real easy for you.
Yeah, it should be a good adjustment. See how much you guys, wow, you even look alike. You know why that is? Because that's your real father. Okay, dinner's ready, everybody. Dinner's ready. Like, what the fuck? Don't complain. Some kids don't even have a father. There's people in Vietnam getting killed right now. Shut up.
Isn't it fascinating how you two get along and everything's fine? It's because he's yours.
Because he's absolutely yours. Well, I guess Donald knew the whole time.
Oh, yeah. Of course.
He knew the whole time. She told him, but just nobody told Blake about this little thing here. So Blake wasn't informed about this, as a matter of fact, until Joan and Burke split up.
Oh, my God.
That's when she sat Blake down and said, okay.
You know how you're really sad that Dad's
Yeah, isn't that terrible?
Because he's not.
Yeah. Actually, that man, you don't even have to see him on the weekends. He's not your dad. What? No, he's not, really. But I use that. Oh, God.
I have to see him.
Yeah, no. Not only is our family breaking up, but that's not even your dad that you thought was your dad. Isn't that great?
Not only is your listen, it may feel like your family's breaking up, but it's not.
It's not. It's actually the opposite.
I'm actually reuniting you with it.
See, it's going to be better because I've been lying to you your whole life, obviously, but now I'm going to bring in your dad, who's also been lying to you your whole life, but now he's your real dad, so you can forgive him and everything's going to be fine.
So there's no emotional damage.
How do you deal with that as a child?
I don't know.
I ask you this question because it's always you didn't meet your dad till he was in his late 20s. Is this better? I don't think so.
I don't think so.
I don't think so. I think this is worse right here. You'd be like, what the fuck? fuck you.
I've got a real wholesome Leave It to Beaver happening around here.
Yeah.
In
comparison to this fucking disaster.
Jesus fuck.
So Blake, by the way, is livid about this. Angry. He does not.
Yeah,
this isn't like
how Ted Bundy was made, James.
Oh, this will make a serial killer. Like the fact that Blake has not, because I looked it up. Trust me, the fact that Blake hasn't gone on a fucking horrible murder spree is a miracle.
Rampage. Yeah,
is a testament to this person's fucking intestinal fortitude to be able to stay on the straight and narrow. Because this is how people are fucked up big time. He's so angry about it though, even as a 10-year-old. This isn't even like he goes, you lied to me and runs away and slams his door and then. Right. A couple hours later, everybody eats ice cream, and he's like, come on, slugger, let's go out and play some catch. And he's like, all right, Dad, and then they run outside. It's not that at all. He's fuck you, and then fuck you tomorrow, too. This is bullshit. You really got to piss a 10-year-old off for him to hold a grudge. That's the thing. 10-year-olds forgive pretty easy.
That. Fuck no.
Not this. That's what I mean. You really have to do something extreme, like lie to him about who his father is for 10 years and then be like, no, it's this guy now. Everything's fine.
And then try to dress up a tragic situation to him and frame it as a nice thing. Because don't worry, you don't even have to call him stepdad and have a guilt about it. Because he's your dad.
It's real dad. And you'd be mad at everybody. You'd be mad at mom. You'd be mad at your real dad for where the fuck were you? You'd be mad at your old dad for why are you such a moron for not knowing that. Like you'd be, as a child, you're just mad at all the adults for this. You don't even have a target for it.
And everybody's
for your rage
forever.
Always. So Donald tries to, once they get married, Joan and he, once Blake's about 12 years old, 11, 12 years old, Donald says, okay, let's heal this family. I want to adopt Blake as well. So that way, because on all of his paperwork, he's actually belongs to the other guy. So he said, I want to officially adopt him since he's, mine and all that. And Blake at 11, 12 years old says, no, I don't want to be adopted.
No, thanks.
You're not adopting me.
Okay.
I don't think so. And just wants nothing to do with it. He never gives in either, this kid.
Wow.
He never, ever acquiesces to the adoption, ever. Yeah. It's just, that's that. This goes on through the 70s, basically. From 72 to 78 is Blake not wanting shit to do with Donald. Yeah. Essentially. And there's reason for it, too, as we'll talk about here. This isn't, Dad's standing there with a fishing pole in his hand going, come on, son, I got an extra pole. I stringed it up. I got the bobber on there and everything. We'll stop and get some night crawlers. I hear they're biting. I hear the hams are biting. Let's get out there. Let's go pull ourselves a fucking honey glazed out of the fucking shallow end. Nobody's saying that.
Thanksgiving's coming up, son.
No.
Let's go out fishing for ham.
Let's go out and go hamming, everybody. That's not happening here.
No.
Because apparently now Donald ends up being pissed off at Blake for for rejecting him rather than understanding this. And, you'd have to chip away at that ice block. You'd have to chip away at it. It's your bad, not his, not the kid's bad. So you got to chip away at that and just kill him with kindness and hope that he comes around.
What a story. Poor Burke.
Blake.
Blake.
God you're thinking of the Ramsey kid. I know you are.
Well, the dad's name was Burke. You can't do Burke and Blake. You can't do that.
And I think his name is Blake Burke. That's the other thing. Blake's middle name. So that's interchangeable. Yeah. Burke, Blake, Burke, same shit. Who cares? Whatever. Fucking pretentious B name. I don't care. So by 1978, this has deteriorated to the point where Blake doesn't even want to see. Yeah. Now he's 18 and everything. Right. He doesn't even want to see Donald anymore. Wants nothing to do with him. Right. So there's a reason for that. Like I said, it's not like Donald's been sitting there with his fishing hat on going, come on, son. And he's saying, fuck you, Dad, out the window. And then throwing an M80 at him. This is
wearing an Anthrax shirt.
Yeah. Fuck you, Dad. With his long hair flowing, flicks a lit joint at him from the fucking window. Lights the M80 with the joint, throws it at him, and then flicks the lit joint. Flicks the lit joint.
That's a fridge further than just a cigarette.
Yeah. Fuck you, Dad. And he like hurls an empty Jack Daniels bottle out there. Not even while he's in the window. It just flies out as from nowhere, like it was thrown from the middle of the room. Not that at all going on here.
It's just up in the ante on anger.
Yeah, no, this is Donald's an asshole. So by March 1978, Joan and Blake leave Donald. They leave the house. Joan has had enough. Blake has never wanted any, so he had enough when he was 11.
Long before we came over.
Yeah, he had enough. He had enough when Led Zeppelin 3 was released. He's got plenty to deal with here. So they go to live with Joan's parents. Mm-hmm. At least they have a place to go. That's good. Joan files for divorce. Okay, and through the early part of 1978, this divorce is going through. She obtained a restraining order to keep Donald away from her.
Okay,
and there are reasons for this, absolute reasons for this. Now, his relationship with Blake was terrible. Obviously,
yeah.
Blake wants nothing to do with him, so he's like, well, if they don't like me, I don't like him. It's he's immature about it. Like I said, he's against him. So. This is fucking wild. He thought that Joan did not discipline Blake at all and felt that she interfered with all of his attempts to do so. Which I'm sure his attempts were not constructive. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's the 70s. It was corporal punishment and screaming. Yeah.
I tried to hit him with a big stick and you got in my way, fucking bitch. Like that's not
my arm every time I grab the belt.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. Jesus Christ. I said I wouldn't hit him with the buckle for Christ's sake. Jesus, you fucking baby.
I said ever again. I meant it.
I meant it, all right? I see. He's still got the mark on his forehead. I ain't forgot it. That's what's going on. This is crazy. So he thought that, she was babying him and all that sort of shit. And his form of discipline it's different, let's just say. On one occasion, Blake parked his car in the driveway.
Okay.
His own car, Blake's car, parked it in the driveway. Obviously, this is, you might as well walk up to Donald and kick him right in the balls. How dare you park in the driveway? Yeah, you parked a car in my driveway? Wait,
you put a car
in the home that you live.
Where
you parked where it goes. Hold on. Oh, wait a second. Oh, what are you going to drive on the road next? I've had it with this fucking kid. He's done.
Yeah.
No, he parks the car in the driveway. Now, Donald didn't like it when he parked the car in the driveway.
Sure. Yeah.
Blake, your car goes out in the street. So rather than going in the house and saying, hey, Blake, move your car out of the way, please. As a parent would go, can you move your goddamn car, please? Even a pissed off parent. Move your fucking shitbox. Even a bad parent.
Yeah.
You little asshole, move your shitbox. That would be considered mean. He takes it a step further, Donald, and uses his own car, Donald's car. Donald gets in his car and uses his car to push Blake's car sideways off the driveway.
You can't do that.
He just fucking rams it and moves it off the driveway into the yard.
There's damage to the car.
Oh, he put his both cars. He put his goddamn fucking front end into it and pushed it. You can't. It's crazy. Sideways too, which skips and jumps, and there's a lot of bang, 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 bang with the metal. Not good.
A lot of shit's bending and creasing.
Yeah, he's obviously that's going to give that's going to tell you not to park in the driveway. That's insane. Hey, everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show to tell you about the safest sponsor ever, Simply Safe. Absolutely. These people will keep you safe. It's amazing. You know that every 26 seconds a burglary takes place in the United States, according to the FBI. That means that by the time this podcast is over, dozens and dozens of homes will have been targeted, ransacked. God knows what happens here. So protect your home before it's too late with Simply Safe proactive security system. Simply Safe helps stop threats before they even have a chance to break in. Named Best Home Security System by U.S. News & World Report 5 years in a row. And by us for about the last 8 years as well. If you trust us, believe me, you want Simply Safe. So visit simplysafe.com/small to claim 50% off a new system with professional monitoring plan and your first month free. That's simplysafe.com/small. There's no safe like Simply Safe.
Now back to the show.
This show, Small Town Murder, is brought to you by BetterHelp. Get yourself some therapy, everybody. Honestly, here. We often hear about, red flags that you should avoid. Hey, that's a lot of a thing. It's become a real phrase now, real cliche. Yeah. But why don't you focus also, you look at like green flags in friends and partners. Look for good things as well. Right. And maybe you're not sure what that looks like, though. Therapy can help you figure that out. What are positive things? What are the green flags? And then you can practice them in your relationship. It's absolutely a fact. And so, honestly, we absolutely are huge advocates for this. It really, really helps. BetterHelp is fully online, making therapy affordable. It's convenient. They serve over 5 million people worldwide. You can access a diverse network of more than 30,000 credentialed therapists, wide ranges of specialties there. Here's the coolest part. You're not getting along with your therapist, you're just not feeling it, you can switch at any time, no extra charge.
Wow.
The thing is, they want you to get help. That's it. And you can do it with BetterHelp. Discover your relationship green flags with BetterHelp. Visit BetterHelp.com/smalltownmurder today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/smalltownmurder.
Now back to the show.
That's not the way...
Yeah.
Another time, this is wonderful. Blake damaged Donald's stereo in the house somehow. I don't. Who knows how he damaged a stereo? Anything could happen, right? Mm-hmm. So Donald felt, and he expressed this feeling far and wide, that Blake did it deliberately.
Oh,
this little bastard broke my fucking stereo, and he meant to do it.
Yeah, he meant to make. Yeah, he put the tape in. He knew it would eat it.
He knew what was going to happen. He knew that song. He knows Pink Floyd The Wall will blow out the lows in my fucking speakers if you have it to that setting. He knows where to put the equalizer. He's a fucking bastard, I'm telling you.
Remember that?
Equalizer.
Little switches.
Well, I was thinking of 70s shit. Like,
yeah,
everybody's house growing up, your parents had their 70s stereo set in your house as a little kid in the 80s, and they all had that equalizer that you'd play with, and you'd make guys go, as they sang. Yeah. We all did that, right?
My stepdad was a dope and just put it all in a V. He was like, it'll sound fine. It's all equal.
I hear it's a V formation is what you're looking for. Shouldn't you listen to it and see how it sounds? Keep it in the V.
That's all highs, no bass.
If you don't keep it in the V, I'll do this, what Donald did here.
Okay.
He went outside and smashed all the windows in Blake's car.
What's with him in the car?
Yeah, okay. Well, that's everything to a kid. That's the kid's symbol of freedom and everything. Yeah. I mean, you damage a teenager's car, and that's the way they get out of their house in a rural area like this. You're crushing them. The fucked up part.
He's beating the shit out of it.
That's the thing is, how's he? Then you have a fucking damaged car sitting in your yard because you pushed it off your driveway. Yeah.
Devaluing your property.
Yeah. It's not even that he smashed the windows, which is crazy. That's crazy at a 9 out of 10. Mm-hmm. It's what he used, the instrument to do it, that takes it to an 11 here. He used a meat cleaver to smash he ran outside holding a meat cleaver over his head like a psychopath, screaming and yelling about his stereo, and proceeded to
the car.
Hack like a fucking maniac all the windows of his car until there were none left with a meat cleaver.
That's wild.
Wow. You know what I mean? Just holy shit. Imagine you're the neighbor. What's going on?
I want to know, was it the closest thing to him, or did he rummage through drawers and find that?
I don't. This'll do it. This'll smash the window. I guess because it's big and heavy.
Yeah.
I just imagine being the goddamn neighbors. Imagine just being fucking Herb. I hear bang. What's going on out there?
What is that?
Christ! It's just fucking. It's the Donald. I don't know. He's got a meat cleaver and. I don't know, he's smashing all the car windows. Again? Yep, again. It's happening again.
Did he come home from ham fishing and he had the meat cleaver ready to carve up lunch and saw
That's possible.
The speakers fucked up? That's got to be it.
Everyone around there keeps a ham cleaver in their car, probably, I would imagine, just in case.
Well, that's how you got a ham.
Well, yeah. And you're supposed to, you gotta gut it down at the lake.
Yeah, you're gonna
take it home. Yeah, you got to get that out of there, so... Obviously, I mean, Jesus Christ. Just those bones. It's a pile of them down at the lake.
So full of ham bones.
Full of ham bones. Ham bone fucking alley over here. So now, this is crazy, obviously. Donald has lost his shit here. I don't care what's going on. The answer isn't run outside and smash, push a car off the driveway with your car or to smash up windows with a meat cleaver. That's never going to be like, oh, I understand that.
A good rule of thumb is whatever behavior you do, make sure it's apologizable. You can
or proportional.
How do you apologize to hacking up windows with a meat cleaver? How do you apologize for that? How do you make up?
No matter what, it's like, that was crazy. You can't they might forgive you for doing it, but then at the same time, they're always going to think you're out of your fucking mind insane. You can't ever erase the insanity of that act. So, to take crazy level up a notch more. Yeah. We're at 11 now. It's on a scale of 10. We're already at 11. Let's take it to a 26, okay? Shall we?
How do you go further?
Well, he went around, Donald did, mind you. He goes around and tells pretty much everyone who would lend them their ear for a moment or two, he would tell them a little story, an angry story, actually, that he's getting divorced. And the reason is, that kid's a little bastard, obviously, never wanted me to adopt him. I was trying to be nice to the kid. Next thing you know, I got to hack his car up with a meat cleaver. And did I tell you that Joan's fucking her son? Yeah, they're fucking too. Yeah, that's right. Blake and Joan are just fucking each other, and that's gross. So I'm getting a divorce from him because, there's a reason why he don't want me to adopt him. It's because he's fucking his mama.
What?
Yeah, that's what he's saying.
He's spreading rumors of incest.
He's telling everyone in town and everyone they know that that's what's going on here. Yeah,
right.
Absolutely. And he will stick to this story fucking forever.
Wow.
So ad infinitum here. It's happening. Yeah.
In perpetuity.
In perpetuity. So this is just the tip of the iceberg too. If we had a full length, we could go into some other weird shit. But there's just weird shit going on for years. This is the craziest. This is the craziest stuff that's happening. So yeah, it's weird, I would say. Things are precarious, to say the least. 3
incidents. How does he not look in the mirror and go, obviously, I wouldn't want me to adopt me. This is insane. No. What am I?
And if you were going through a divorce, you would want to make it as quick and as let's not have a bunch of shit come out here. Because if this stuff starts coming out in a court of law, in the sober light of day of a court of law, you hacking up Blake's car with a meat cleaver is not going to look good. It's just not.
Right.
You're going to look like a scary guy. Period.
And thumbing through the mail that the mailman just gave you while spinning a yarn about your wife banging her son is not. You don't want that. I'm just doing that neither.
You hear my wife was fucking my son? Yep, it happened.
For
years.
Thanks.
There's a reason why my marriage ain't working. Tell you why.
Look at that, a used car sale.
Oh, my God. Jesus fuck. So by August of 1978, she's got a restraining order against him. The divorce is in full swing. The divorce is it should be complete by the end of August.
Okay.
The divorce should be all done. They'll be legally done
easy,
and done
easy,
from each other.
Done, walk away.
So she is hanging out in August of 78 here with Glenn and Gloria Faye Nelson. Now, Glenn is her brother, Joan's brother, Glenn, and then Gloria Faye is his wife. So that is Joan's sister-in-law.
Glenn and Gloria. Yeah.
Glenn and Gloria, her brother and sister-in-law. So Gloria is 38 years old. So, anyway, so she's a little younger than Joan. Sure. So it's her younger sister, obviously. So anyway, Joan Carlson and Blake have been living now she's Carlson, she was Nelson. They've been living in Minneapolis with her parents, by the way. That's not in Ham Lake. She's been living in Minneapolis with her parents during the divorce. But it's August 7th. She's at her sister's house in Ham Lake. Sure. It's a nice lake house here. She visits her brother and sister-in-law. It's a cottage. It's a Ham Lake cottage.
Hell yeah.
Sounds relaxing, doesn't it? I mean, you could the birds are tweeting outside while you're
anytime
pulling in a 15-pounder,
all wrapped up in foil already.
Smoked a 15-pound smoked ham already wrapped in foil, ready to go.
Pineapple and cherry in there.
Honey, get the applesauce ready. we're having something. Get the vegetables. Whatever people eat with ham. I don't know. I don't like ham, so.
You hate ham.
I fucking hate ham. It's just a salty mess. But I love, like, prosciutto. I love, like, quality pork.
Though. Oh, I love them. Love them. Ham and Swiss. Oh, shit. So good.
I get where you're going, the salt
Mustard,
and the bitter.
lettuce, tomato, onion. Oh.
No ham for me, thank you. Anything but ham.
Anytime somebody says cottage I don't give a fuck where it is in the country, on a lake. Cottage
sounds good.
Tells me it's fantastic there.
It sounds beautiful. Yeah.
Yes.
It sounds quiet is what it sounds. So they're hanging out at the cottage. The cottage.
The college is loud.
It's hanging out at the college. They're shit-faced. They just did a shot from between a girl's tits, and now they're ready to do something else.
If there's a polar opposite of cottage, it's certainly college.
It's certainly college. So they're taking it easy. There's a wedding coming up this weekend. It's a relative's wedding, so they're all kind of together, gathered, hanging out. The wedding shower is the next day, so they're like, Christ, we got to go to that, and that's coming up. So it's one of those. It's a family, get-together type of deal. So Donald Carlson, by the way, at this point, lives just a few blocks away from here.
Really?
In Ham Lake. Yeah, they lived in Ham Lake, and then she moved back to Minneapolis with the parents. So this is just a few blocks away, but there's still a restraining order in place and everything. But he lives legally far enough away.
Right, and he's not welcome at the cottage.
No, he's not welcome there at all. So August 7th, 1978, Carlson lived in a house. He had a roommate, John Fossey, and Fossey had two sons, which is... That's who he lived with. So he had a roommate with his friend and his two kids there. And it's only a few houses away, but in a legal distance there. So this day, August 7th, about 11 a.m., Donald phones a bank trust officer. So he has a trust that's like a bank account that he can take money out of, but it's also a trust, so it's got different rules and all that shit. So he calls the trust officer, and he's angry on the phone with the trust officer because he felt that Joan took money from his bank account for expenses or for whatever the fuck. I don't know. So the trust officer said that might be true, actually. There was some whatever, and Donald was mad. But he wasn't like he wasn't meat cleaver in a fucking, meat cleaver in a Chevy mad. He was different type of deal. The bank officer described him as, quote, rational and intelligent and seemed to be completely in control of his emotions.
Frustrated.
So, he's frustrated, but he's like, God damn it. But he's not like, oh, fucking murder everybody. He doesn't freak out. He doesn't, slam. I don't know. The phone didn't really hang up. It ended with just bashing until I heard like weird noises, and then it was just dead after that. I don't even know. So by 5 p.m., He's been basically seething all day. He spent the day seething, as one does. 5 p.m., he calls a neighbor and tells this neighbor, a woman, that he believed that Joan had a boyfriend. He calls this woman up to talk some shit about Joan, just to gossip. And he's like, she's fucking her kid. Well, in addition to that, I think she got a boyfriend. I think she's had a boyfriend for a while. And as a matter of fact, in addition to her son and her boyfriend, I'm pretty sure she's thinking about going back to her ex-husband as well.
Oh, my God.
So this lady on the other end has to be like, okay, boy,
know so much about her life.
Jesus Christ. So at about 7 p.m., the Donald's roommate, the Fossey guy, he was leaving the house. And this is amazing. This psychopath, fucking Donald, has watching Joan from a few houses away with binoculars.
Ew.
That's what Fossey he's like, I'm going to take off, Donald. And Donald's like, all right, see you later. He turns away from the binoculars. Whoa.
Are you bird watching? Kinda. My ex-bird.
He said, what you doing, pal? Like,
why you see?
What's up with the binoculars? And he stated this, quote, Joan's down there again. Quote, why doesn't she leave me alone? One of you.
She's not the one with the binoculars, man.
One of you has high-powered binoculars staring out the window, and the other one is going about their business with their family, oblivious to your presence. So, which one are you, sir?
One certainly is leaving the other alone.
Oh, my God. So at that point, he's so angry, he slams the binoculars down, and opens up a bottle. It's a fifth of, it's described in court documents as 160 proof vodka. Now,
that's
Everclear. Yeah, I don't know. I've never heard of 160 proof vodka.
I've never heard of 80% alcohol vodka.
Vodka's 80 proof, 90 proof. Right. You know what I mean? It's not fucking 80% alcohol.
160?
160 proof is. That's like grain alcohol. That's what college kids will pour into a punch bowl. They'll pour like 3 spoonfuls of it and it'll get 46 people drunk. It's that shit. Either that or like a hillbilly just swigs on it while he hangs out on the porch. One of the two.
While he lays down because he can't walk.
Because he can't walk anymore. Well, that's what he's drinking. He opens up a fifth of grain alcohol and begins making screwdrivers with it. So he's mixing it with orange juice here.
There's no mixer that makes that palatable. There's no way to drink that.
No, you could have a battery acid and moonshine fucking cocktail, and you'd be like, "Whew, that moonshine's strong, isn't it? You can fucking taste it." It would still be the thing that hits you harder.
Can't even feel my feelings tingle.
God damn. Ooh, that smell. Ooh.
You're better off with that shit, just like cutting your belly open and pouring it in there just so it doesn't burn as you drink it.
Yeah, gets sick the other way. Yeah. Fuck it. So he, from 7 to 9, drinks the entire fifth of moonshine or grain alcohol or whatever the fuck you want to call
it.
Gasoline here. As he drank, he sat there seething, drinking the whole thing, watching her with the binoculars the whole time.
How dare she make me drink this?
This sounds ridiculous, by the way. This sounds like a soap opera or like some kind of weird movie where you're like, he's just sitting there. What's he got? Just a bag of Funyuns and a fifth of fucking moonshine staring at the binoculars.
James,
watch TV. This is the 70s.
Was this sex? That's how good it is.
I think he's just a psychopath is what it is. Maybe. I think he's a real lunatic who has never been able to let go of this chick since they were 12. I think that's the problem. And he's got some problems.
One of them fucks really great, though.
Somebody must, just for them to keep coming back.
Right.
So now he's watching them through the binoculars. Joan and her relatives were preparing a dinner for themselves here, late dinner. Blake had several friends over as well there. There was Blake, he had a few friends and all this type of shit. He said that he began to, as he's drinking, he began to think about Blake and, as the way he put it later, Blake's, quote, absolute defiance of him all the time. He's just seething and getting drunk. Not good.
How dare he not like me when I behave like this?
Listen, drinking and thinking, not a good combination.
No,
you need to be like drinking and watching something silly or drinking and eating or drinking and fucking, but you can't be drinking and thinking.
Forgetting. Yeah.
Drinking and forgetting. Drinking and thinking bad. He said the more I watched, the madder I got.
Yeah.
Oh, boy.
Why you watching?
Then he started thinking about the restraining order that Joan obtained against him. How dare she restrain me from her, even though I'm a dangerous lunatic? He said, quote, I felt bad, I felt hurt, and I felt defiance. And I thought, I just got, hurt and mad.
It's called rejection that you're processing.
You're about a 49-year-old man. You should learn to live with this shit by now. By 49, you got to be able to process rejection. It should happen a lot by then, and we all should be used to it.
By 49, you should certainly learn that there's some people that don't want to be around you, probably.
Yeah. They always say, like, there's countries that have, you have to sign up for military service, or there's no sign up. It's just, mandatory military service. I would like in our country what we need to. I mean, people can argue that or debate that, but I think everybody on your 18th birthday, you have for once a month for the next 3 months, you have to do one open mic comedy night each time. You have to go up there not knowing what you're doing and do 10 minutes, not 5, 10. When you're done with that, you will be able to deal with anything life has to throw at you. Anything. Women rejecting you, jobs not working out your way, and you'll go, well, I mean, shit, it was better than that time I told something that I really thought was coming from the bottom of my heart, and a guy told me to suck a dick when I was done saying it and screamed it at the top of his lungs and then threw a shot glass at me.
In a silent room of 40 people, one man told me to eat a dick.
Yeah, and people were on his side. They were nodding.
And everybody said, yeah, please do.
Please. So anyway, at this point, he said he's hurt, he's mad, so he takes He puts down his drink here once it's done and puts down his binoculars and trades them for a shotgun and a revolver.
Oh, boy.
Okay, he loads them up. He puts more shells in his pockets for later. You never know. And he drove to a driveway. He's like 4 houses down. But he got in his car. And he drove into a driveway next to the Nelson's house and parked there so they wouldn't, see him pull into their driveway. He then walks up to the screen porch where Blake is there. Blake is in the screen porch, and he just points the gun at Blake's head. He said he was feeling hurt and defiance, and he just shot Blake in the fucking head. Whoa. Without saying a word. Just walked up, pulled the shotgun on him, and blasted him. So, on the porch.
God.
Just nothing, no anything. Apparently, no one saw him come up until the shotgun shot fired, and then everybody turned around. Because there's a bunch of people.
Shit.
There's like 8-9 people in the house, so there's a lot of noise, and people are talking, and there's
Blake's
cooking
friends
going
are still
on.
there?
Inside, yeah.
Oh,
they're
my
inside.
God.
Blake was out on the porch. So the first shot hits Blake right in the neck, and he's dead within minutes. It's fatal. It's a close shotgun blast. Joan, being a mom, runs over to Blake.
Yeah.
Even though there's a dangerous man with a shotgun, she goes and, oh my God, my son, and covers him up and tries to help him. As a good parent would, or any parent, I would hope. And then he fires a second shot, which hits her in the neck.
Oh my God.
This severs her spinal cord, and she falls backwards. And a third shot, again, she kind of it hits a chair behind her. Only a little bit hits her, so it hits the chair. All 3 shots were fired within 5 seconds. Boom,
Lord.
Boom, boom. I mean, it was that fast. He just went in. At this point, everyone in the house, 8-9 people scatter in every different fucking direction. Out of every fucking people are jumping out of windows. I mean, this is wild. So Gloria Nelson, her Joan's sister-in-law, hides in the kitchen. She didn't get out. She just hid in the kitchen. So at this point, he drops his shotgun out in the lawn, Donald. He throws it down in the lawn. Right? Done with that. But he walks in and shoots Joan in the back of the head with a revolver. With the revolver he had from a distance of about 2 feet. It was, the problem is the phone rang. That's how he knew she was there. The phone rang. She went over to it and it was a neighbor saying, I heard shots over there. Is everybody okay? Gloria said, call ambulances and stuff, please. And that's when he saw her, fired at her twice, and hit her in the left side of the chest and the shoulder. And then she turned around and left. And then he turned around and left the house.
Unbelievable.
That was it. He saw other people outside, saw other people that he could have shot, and didn't even fucking do anything.
Didn't bother.
Didn't bother with the bystanders. He wanted
very targeted.
Her,
yep.
That asshole kid who rejected me, and that fucking bitch sister-in-law of hers that they sit around fucking talking shit about me all the time. That's what I think he was saying in my head. How dare these motherfuckers?
Meanwhile, he's telling everybody that she's banging her son. What the fuck, man?
No matter what she's saying, they're at least even, because he's saying the most horrible thing you could imagine. So unless she's saying he was fucking the kid, that's the only thing I can imagine that could be equal. So the police are en route to the scene. He's walking away. By the time the police come across him, they don't know he's part of any of this. They're just coming saying shots were fired. They hear that. So he flags them down.
Yeah.
He's a few houses down. He points over down toward that house, and he said, quote, and I quote, Jimmy, there's a crazy black man with a shotgun who just shot 2 people. He's crazy. He's crazy. You got to get him. Crazy black guy down there. Absolutely insane. He's just got a shotgun shooting up all the nice white cottage people. It's crazy. You got to see him.
The amount of times that's been said after these kind of things happen.
After a woman pushes her kids in the lake, it happens. So they said that he smelled slightly of alcohol, which I would think he'd smell more than that.
He should have been flammable.
But he's such an alcoholic, he appeared normal to the officers. Even though he drank a fifth of grain alcohol, he seemed reasonably normal. And when someone's freaking out, hey, there's a guy, I mean, you can pull it together. The officers go, thanks, and they rush to the house.
Thanks, hero.
Yeah, thanks. Oof, boy, that heroic drunken man in the street really pushed us to the right place, and we'll get that black guy. So they get to the house where Glenn Nelson is there tending to his wife, who, by the way, she'll be fine. Joan's sister-in-law.
Survives?
She'll end up going to the
survives.
hospital. Yep, wow. She'll end up going to Fridley's Unity Hospital with 2 bullet wounds and come out of it just fine. So,
unbelievable.
I mean, I'm sure she's got problems, but she's alive is what I'm getting at. So good for her. So Glenn Nelson's there, Joan's brother, and he goes, there's no fucking black guy. It's that asshole who fucking I saw him talking to you in the street. He's my ex-brother-in-law, blah, 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 blah.
Well, 4 houses down.
Yeah, 4 houses down. So they don't get him until the next morning.
What?
But in the time that they went up to the house and Glenn said that the guy you're looking for was the guy in the street, they somehow lose him in that amount of time.
Holy.
A guy so drunk that I don't even know how he could walk, never mind aim. So anyway, they find the shotgun in the yard. They find a pistol. He threw that over in the yard, too. He didn't even take it with him. He just tossed the pistol as he left. It looked like he just came down the steps and threw it in the yard.
Like they're untraceable.
Yeah, toss that away, and they'll never find that. So early the next morning, he was at a neighbor's house. And he asked the neighbors, "Hey, I'm kind of wanted for murdering. You've heard about it, yeah? It was pretty big news down on our street here. Call the cops, tell them I'll be here waiting for him." So they take him into custody, and he's interviewed by the police investigators. They tape everything. They give him a Miranda warning. They do all that shit. It's all taped. He discussed his actions in detail, just like we just told you, and the tape was made. Everything's going in the tape. By the way, he says. This is one of the crazier statements we've had, and we've had a few in this episode.
Sure, yeah.
He said, "Yeah, I understand that ambushing my wife and son with a shotgun is kind of a, quote, no-no, but..."
A no-no.
I think the understatement of the year goes to murdering my wife and son with a shotgun is, I know it's a no-no. I get it. That's the understatement of the year.
A no-no?
A no-no. That's you're having a cookie while your mom's making dinner. That's a no-no. You know what I mean? Murdering, multi-generations of a family is not a no-no. That's a whole other issue. That's
not even borrowing the car without permission is a no-no.
No-no.
That's even too far for no-no.
Breaking the stereo's a no-no.
That's a no-no.
That's a no-no. Yeah. I would say that's a parking in the driveway. It's a no-no. I've told you to park in the street. Yeah. Close range with a shotgun, we're out of no-no territory.
It's beyond no-no.
We're in the holy shit territory. Yeah.
Absolutely not.
So he gives the whole statement, then refuses to sign it.
Mm-hmm.
Like that matters. You know what I mean? So
I don't want to put my name on it.
I'm not signing that. So they make copies of the statement and the tape, and they give it to him. He's required by Minnesota law to have copies of this shit. They said, "Will you sign the receipt that says we gave it to you?" And he said, "No."
I don't sign anything.
He said, "You didn't inform me of my right to counsel." That's what he said.
Okay.
You didn't inform me that. He eventually signed the receipt, but he said, "You never told me that." Meanwhile, it's on tape, them giving the whole Miranda warning. So pre-trial, very quickly here, he pleads not guilty by reason of mental illness to the charges.
Booze is not mental illness.
No, he's a fucking... Being a drunken asshole is not a mental illness. So he's got $65,000 left in his trust, and his family is suing him, saying that he shouldn't be able to use all that money in his defense. He should have to...
Half of it is hers, yeah.
Well, no, not half is her. Her family should be able to sue him civilly for this, and all the funds they could sue for are going to be used in his defense. Uh-huh. So that's bullshit. But the judge rules that it's his money right now, so if he wants to use it for his defense, that's up to him. Yeah. And once all that's over, if they want to sue him for it, that's their right. But he doesn't have to hold money in reserve in case of a lawsuit. That's not the law. As shitty as it is, that's not the law. But while this fight goes on, he's in jail for 2 years.
Wow.
Awaiting the deal there. It's the longest anyone's ever been in this jail, this county jail. 2 fucking years. Yep. Another thing he fights about is the grave marker. He says to the press here, "By the way, Joan's marker on her grave is Joan C. Nelson, not Joan C. Carlson," he said. He said, "That's bullshit. That's not right. It should be my name because that's her name."
Okay.
Yeah. Then he says, quote, "I've been in the county jail longer than any person since it was built. I guess I'll never get out. Well, if you follow along real close, you'll have a good story." That's what he tells the press here. So
we don't have to follow close.
No, it's
we can
pretty
follow loosely, and it's a pretty goddamn good story.
Pretty fucking compelling, sir. Yeah. So it's a 2.5-week trial. He doesn't deny what happened because everybody saw it. He just says that he's crazy. That's his whole thing. He's legally crazy. They have all of these witnesses. The prosecution rebuilds the whole thing, to establish his sanity. The defense says that, he's recently had paranoid hallucinations and delusions, among them that his wife was trying to harass him and that he was trying to destroy his business as well. And also that she and Blake were pursuing an incestuous love affair. So they were like, Carlson here, he's a little bonjour over here. He said that Carlson, he was in the Marines back in the day, and he said up to him, he was carrying out a duty to rid the world of these people, these terrible people who are, What the fuck? He said there's no question, this is his lawyer, that he's responsible for the physical act of shooting these people. He knew he was killing, but he did not know he was committing murder. That's what he said. He said,
what?
Yeah, he said, this is crazy. He said, quote, now this is a scheming, diabolical murderer? I mean, he said, who plots a crime, then goes and tells everyone he meets, including a deputy sheriff? I never heard about a rational murderer premeditating a crime, then telling the whole world about it. He would have to be crazy. That's what he says.
Okay.
And
so
they're like,
he bragged on it? That makes him crazy?
He's an asshole. Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean he's fucking crazy. There's multiple experts here. He has 3 experts. They talk about, by the way, an EEG. This is 1980, like medical shit. So this is probably way out of date. I don't know. But 2 electrocephalograms, EEGs. They performed one in the usual manner, and one was performed after they gave him 6 ounces of vodka, which must have been a great experiment for this guy. I get drunk first?
That's
great.
6 shots, man. That's a lot of vodka.
The results of the first were normal, but the alcohol-activated EEG showed a, quote, mitten pattern. Okay? Looks just like Michigan. That's what's going on. He said it's a mitten pattern, which has been found in a, quote, certain percentage of patients who suffer mental illness. So, obviously, he's innocent.
When you're up in the UP, that's when all bets are off.
That's his fucking argument.
Okay.
A state prosecutor here for the state side, he said that the defendant's actions were not controlled by any delusions. He said he described him as obsessive, compulsive, perfectionist, and an episode alcoholic in a state of depression. He said defendant knew full well what he was doing and the effect it would have on the intended victims. Yeah. And he even told the cops that it was a no-no, so that tells you a lot.
Yeah, he's very aware of right and wrong. He's an angry drunk. That's what he is.
That's all it is.
Yeah.
Very quickly, it goes to the jury after all this. During the jury, there's almost a mistrial because while the jury's deliberating, the judge fucking dies.
What?
Could it get any weirder? The judge drops dead the day before the jury had a fucking verdict. So they had to delay the whole thing to go, what do we do now? The judge is dead. He was driving home with his wife, and he just had a heart attack and died. That was it. Wow. Heart failure, dropped dead. So some other judge, they finally, after all this shit, all these legal wranglings, they figure out who's got to take his place. And a verdict comes in, and they find him guilty of 2nd and 3rd degree murder, not mentally impaired. 2nd and 3rd degree murder. Here, the verdicts are, this has been a long time. He could be sentenced to up to 75 years. Okay. Sentencing comes around. You, sir, may fuck off. He is sentenced to, these are concurrent terms, by the way, so not consecutive. They go together. 40 years for the murder, 25 years for the next murder, and then 10 years on 3 other separate counts.
So 40 years.
So basically like 75 years, but concurrent. So 40 years. Yeah, that's how it works. So it was the maximum he could get, apparently. So I think he could have gotten it consecutive, though.
How do they not charge him with 1st degree murder on that?
I think 1st degree in Minnesota is a different thing. I think it's a different thing. It's got
to have some sort of premeditation to it?
There is premeditation, but I think it's a different thing. Sometimes some states have like 1st degree murder will be like murder of like a police officer or something. That's 1st degree murder.
Minnesota?
Shit like that. But it's the same sentences either way. It's whether you call it 1st, 2nd, or 8th. If the sentence is 40 years, it's still life,
I suppose.
Life is life. Anyway, quick appeal he has based on complete horseshit. He's saying that it's based on his tape, and he's saying, I gave a waiver of my Miranda rights, but not a total waiver of my rights. They said, get the fuck out of here, back to prison. He's finally, July 3rd, 2000, he drops dead. So there you go. Carlson's dead. Think he died in prison, too, from what I could gather. So,
I hope it was on some sort of bathtub booze, some hooch, some prison hooch. I hope it was just a bad fermented batch and he choked to death on it. What a cocksucker he is.
What a dick. So anyway, that's that. He's dead. Hope everybody enjoy your weekend. Go out and catch yourself a nice big old ham. Take the family out, make a day of it.
Enjoy it, juicy.
Enjoy it. Shutupandgivememurder.com, patreon.com/crime and sports. Thank you guys so much for joining us. We'll see you next week.
See you next week. Bye.
If you like Small Town Murder, you can listen early and ad-free now by joining Wondery Plus in the Wondery app or on Apple Podcasts. Prime members can listen early and ad-free on Amazon Music. Before you go, tell us about yourself by filling out a short survey at Wondery.com/survey.
In the 1980s, a rosé swept the country.
Hey, Mike, I really like this White Zinfandel.
Well, good. Now put it down. We're going to try another one.
White Zin became America's top-selling wine. But most don't know that this sweet drink has a sour history. What began in 1986 with counterfeit bottles,
a big fraud, a multi-million-dollar fraud,
sent investigators chasing one of the most powerful families in the business, the Licciardis. But the closer the feds got to them, the more dangerous things became. It's a story of deceit.
At the time, I was paranoid.
Threats.
You touch my kids, I will kill you.
And murder.
With a .22 caliber bullet to the head.
What started with a scheme to mislabel wine spilled into a blood-soaked battle for succession. Welcome to Bloodvines. You can binge listen to Bloodvines exclusively and ad-free on Wondery Plus. Join Wondery Plus in the Wondery app, Apple Podcasts, or Spotify.